without question, La Maschera is one of Helena Bonham Carter's most underrated films. I have seen every film she's ever done, including several that are, lesser known, and this one is one that I kind of have never had an in-depth conversation with anybody about. So if you've seen this and you want to talk about the film and share your thoughts, please feel free to drop me a message. I'd love to get a dialogue going about this. This was released in 1988. The English title is The Mask, and is directed by Fiorella Infascelli. 100% definitely mispronounced that. I apologise in advance for any mispronunciations. My Italian is improving. I am learning Italian, but it's not quite there yet. And I'll read the description from IMDb, which I think describes this really nicely. And I hope when you hear this description, you will want to definitely watch this, because even if HBC wasn't in it, the premise is so fun. So this says, a debauched nobleman offers himself to a beautiful woman, but she is repelled by his advances. He dons a mask and tries again, and this time is more successful. But the mask cannot conceal the evil in his soul. I like that. So, wearing a mask may change your appearance, it doesn't change who you are on the inside. But obviously the point is, Leonardo approaches Iris played by HBC, and, she doesn't want anything to do with him. But then he wears a mask, and she doesn't know it's him, and she takes the time to get to know him, and, well, it's a fantasy romance. And I'm not going to say what happens. I'd say it's relatively predictable. I think what happens is probably something you could write before you even started watching it, but the development of the narrative is still a lot of fun. We have some gorgeous costumes, really beautiful costumes. The subtitles are a lot of fun. I like the dialogue in this. We have some really interesting conversations between Iris and, shall we say, the man in the mask. And I think Iris as a character goes on a particularly interesting journey. It's not the most developed character story, the most developed narrative. It's not overly intricate. It's basically set in the same place. It's not set over a long period of time or anything. But it takes what it's delivering and delivers it well. Now, in terms of the ratings, it's got 5.9 out of 10 on IMDb. But that's only across 138 reviews. Now, for an HBC film to have 138 reviews only is, kind of lacking. So I definitely think that more people need to be aware of this. The DVD is, I can't imagine you'd ever be able to walk into like HMV and pick up the DVD, but certainly it's available on Amazon and eBay, and probably anywhere else that sells second-hand or slightly rare DVDs. But it's not impossible. Absolutely not impossible to get hold of. I thoroughly recommend it if you're a fan of HBCs, but I also really like the narrative, and it really appealed to me. I love like doppelganger films, or films where twins switch identities, where somebody doesn't know they're talking to the person they're talking to. I always find that such a fascinating narrative trope, and the execution of that here is done pretty well. Costumes are gorgeous, mask design beautiful, really entertaining film, definitely underrated. I haven't seen an abundance of Italian films, but I would like to see more. The ones that I have seen, I've always enjoyed. I don't think I've ever seen a bad Italian language film, but again, I haven't seen that many. So if you can recommend any, I'd be very interested in broadening that horizon. But for now, I certainly recommend La Maschera. HBC is great in it, but ultimately it's just a pretty great film.